If you guys go back previous day on Tesla, look at this. It's already at yesterday's low. So you got two critical areas. Remember, we always chart as we go, but this one we can pull from yesterday. So you've got a critical level here at 245.45-ish, right? That's here, here, and you can see a little bit in there. And then absolute rock bottom of yesterday was 245. Now it says 245.06, but we all know that actually means 245. Everybody knows, right, that you're going to have a couple cents off anytime you're near a whole number because nobody's going to wait for that exact number. So if we go back to what we're at today, look at what it just did. There's your first bounce. And then this is going to be your second at 245. Guys, if this breaks 245, Tesla's in real trouble today, right? So what you guys need to do is map out a couple of key things that are going to be happening today. So most likely, right? Typically when the market super pulls in the pre-market, usually then it will pop at the open because people will start to buy in, right? Thinking it's some sort of super sale. So if that's the case, we need to start watching these levels. Now, this is what I wanted to show you guys in continuation of the way that we track. Right here in the pre-market, this is giving us more information. So on the bounce on the way up, you're watching for here and here, which is 247. Do you guys all see it? So that would be like a first level that you guys are watching for. Here's a second level, and you can see it came from yesterday. So you've got all of this, these, this right here, 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 and here. So on the bounce back to the upside, oh, and here, this is another one. So now we're starting to map this out. You guys can see if it does bounce up, these are going to be your critical areas. Now, the low of yesterday, you want to mark this in red, right? That's your absolute lowest, or you guys can mark it in gold. Remember how we always talk about the major critical levels are gold. This is actually a major critical level. Why? Because it touched it so many times yesterday. So we will see this 284, by the way, that is going to be 284.50. You guys will see right here, 248.50 is going to be a big one in play today if it comes up. You're going to watch at 247, right? Even though it says 06, it's actually somewhere around 247. You guys know it's because it's a whole number. And then, of course, down here, these are your, now this is your absolute bottom from yesterday. So one of two things is going to always happen on the pre-market or on the bottom, the low of yesterday. It's either going to bounce and climb or it's going to crash hard on the breakthrough, right? Because this is where everybody's like, that is support. This is the absolute support from yesterday is this gold level. Now, what you can do is if you right click on your screen and go to drawings, scroll down and go to text, you could put low of day yesterday or whatever makes you remember what it is and put it right where it's at. That way, later in the day, when you're coming through this chart and you're like, well, what was this gold line, right? Because we'll have 100 lines on our screen. Well, this one was the low of day yesterday. See how I did that? And then you know right away, all day today, what that means to you. Does that make sense? So what you want to be prepared for is the break of 245. Now, obviously, you can't get the data from the day before. That means you got to go out farther, right? I know I've got a lot of crap on here. By the way, you guys are able to leave all this up. I typically can't because I have to train. So if you ever see my screen is clean most of the time, it's just because of training. If you guys saw my screen looking like this every day, be like, what the heck? I can't follow that. So on your screens, you'd leave them all because if I marked these, they mattered, right? So right here, since we can't go back the previous day to find the low, we go back until we have data, and here's the data, okay? Now, what I'll do is I'll use this data in conjunction with more data, and then what I will do is I will start to map these together, meaning I will chart what is here to see what starts to make more sense. So maybe I start drawing lines at the top of these bodies. So if we look inside of this convoluted mess and we start looking at the bodies, not the wicks, we've got Basically, you've got one there, one there, one there, and one there, and one there. So we know it's somewhere in this little range. See what I'm doing? Then we've got wick, 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 here, here, here. So then what I do is I'm going to come over to where we have our most recent data and go, okay, do those make sense for the previous timelines that we had, or is it just a mess? Because if it's not really anything, which it looks like those aren't really anything, those were probably based on previous levels, then I won't use these, right? So now I'm going to go inside of here and go, okay, what makes sense inside of here? You can see it was real close. We had wick, wick on the bottoms. We got body, body. So you can see it was really close. Okay. You got body, body, wick, 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 close, close, right? Where you can see that over here, though, there was like major areas. Notice that gold level again at 245 we discussed. See it? Notice up here, previous area right there, right? And we're in that right now.